So let's talk about the other breaking open for you. The breaking open moment was the divorce.
Right.
Unquestionably. Your husband had a sexual relationship with somebody who was working inside your home, and a child resulted from that relationship. You were betrayed, and you write poems here about your feelings about that. And in the introduction, you say, as I sat on my hotel room floor in the dark, terrified and alone, with tears streaming down my face, I thought to myself, Maria, this doesn't have to be the end of you. It can't be the end of you. Make it a new beginning of you. And you write that it took you many years to get to that point to recover, and that's why I couldn't believe that you're putting this all in writing, because I know this to be true. You literally tried every method of healing anybody has ever heard of.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did. And you're right. It did take me a really long time. And you were there on the hotel floor.
On the hotel floor.
Yeah. And I really wanted to pick myself up. It's still an emotional thing for me. But I wanted to pick myself up. I wanted to be more open. I wanted to come out from behind whatever padded door I was living behind. I wanted to know how that had happened to me. I wanted to know who I could be moving forward. I wanted to show my daughters and my boys that I could hold myself up, that I could put my shoulders back, that I could heal. I did not know how to heal. I had just started going to therapy at the end of my marriage, so I had not been someone who had been in therapy. I had not been someone who was on the healing path of life. And I went all in.
You were just being a mom with four kids and going through the thing and that.
Well, I was being a daughter. I was being a journalist. I was being a mother. I was playing all the roles that I think so many people play. And it's a lot, right? Everybody that I talk to who's trying to raise kids, take care of parents, work themselves, be a good wife, you're not really thinking about a lot of other things.
I remember the night that the story about Arnold's betrayal was going to go public. You had known for a long time, but the night that it was going to go public was the night that I was ending the Oprah show in 2011. And I have never seen a friend like you, because on the night that you knew that that was going to be going public, you came and you showed up for me. You showed up for me. And I don't know how you did that, because you weren't even in your right mind. Were you even present in your body? You walk out on the stage and you hugged me and Gail hugged me. And I remember everybody cheering because the news had just come out that morning.
Well, I did know it was going to go public that day because I flew to Chicago to be with you. And when I landed,
I remember you called me.
I heard, and I was there with my daughters.
Your two daughters.
And, but I wanted to be there for you because you had been there for me, and you are one of my best friends in the world. And so I was there, and then I got on a plane and left.
Yeah.
And, but that was important to me. Showing up in my life for people that I love is a big thing for me.
And then you write about in the public square, the humiliation and shame that filled your soul. Can you read that?
Yeah. The public square. Shame filled my body. Humiliation filled my soul. Every inch of my being crumbled. I stood humbled, disgraced, mortified in the public square. I heard the whispers. How could she not have known, not have seen? She must have. She couldn't have not. Poor her. Poor them. I could feel the stares of pity, of scorn. I tried to meet them, but eyes turned away. I stood in the public square, a mere shadow of my former self, until I thought, no, this is not how it's going to go. I'm going to rebuild. I'm going to discard. I'm going to stand in all that I am and carry on. I'm going to move forward. Make no mistake, I hear you, I see you, but you'll see, your whispers have nothing on me. And I did, I really wanted to move forward, and I wanted to have a good relationship with Arnold. I wanted my children to see me moving forward.
In spite of the shame and the betrayal,
Yeah.
you wanted a good relationship.
I did, because I had been with Arnold since I was 21. He's the father of my children. I wanted to be able to go to our kids' weddings when they have kids. I wanted to be the person that could be in the room and everybody would be okay.
Well, this is
And
what
that
is,
was really important to me.
well, this is what's so powerful about all the poems that you've written. And also, so many times over the years and on this podcast, we talk about forgiveness and how you forgive for yourself. And you write in the section on healing, you write these 3 lines: if I forgive me, I can forgive him. I can forgive her. And so it is all forgiven. We are all free to go. I mean, what did it take for you to get to we are all free to go?
One of my shamans or therapists said to me, before you can talk about forgiving another person, you have to look at forgiving yourself. And you have to go back and look at your own life and think about, how hard you've been on yourself and how judgmental you've been of yourself, and begin the process of forgiving
That's
yourself.
That's really some elevated thinking, because most people in the midst of betrayal are just trying to get through the next day.
Well, I think it's a long process.
Yes.
It's a long process. But I think if you begin to think about, how tough you've been on yourself, how judgmental you've been on yourself, how hard you've been on yourself.
Because did you go through what a lot of women go through? I'm asking this, but I know the answer. Did you go through what else I could have done? It could have been better, and I wasn't a good enough wife, and if I had done this differently and that differently,
Yes.
Did you go through that?
For years. Yes, absolutely. And what did I miss? And to, I think, Arnold's credit, he's like, nothing. There's nothing you could have done better. And of course, I kept going around and around, and I think that that's normal. And I think it took me a really long time to forgive myself, to forgive the whole situation.
Did you have to forgive yourself for also what you didn't see? Because I think one of the things you talk about in the Whispers, one of the things that was so loudly whispered, and I would get so frustrated when people would say this to me, well, that's what the Kennedy women do.
Yeah, so I'd love to rectify that.
That's what the Kennedy women do.
Kennedy women, first of all, I'm a Shriver.
Yeah.
I'm Maria.
Yeah.
But this idea of, quote, the Kennedy women. Kennedy women are strong. Kennedy women keep the family together. So many of those kids, whether it was Ethel or Jackie, were single mothers raising their kids. So to any woman who's been a single... But
you've heard that, this idea
of course I've heard it. I've heard everything.
Yeah, you've heard everything.
I've heard everything. And I'd say 90% of what I've heard, 95%, is never true. And I think I grew up with that also, like to pay no attention to what you hear about anybody. So, and I think, that had something to do with how I ended up where I ended up, because I never paid any attention to what I heard. So I think that always drove me crazy to be referred to that way, because it wasn't true.
Absolutely.
And I considered myself, and do consider myself, a strong woman. And I have met so many women, and I've met many men, right, who go through heartbreak, wherever it is in life, and find a healing path forward. And that's the conversation I'm interested in having with people, because I think there's nobody who gets out of life without heartbreak. There's nobody who can stand at 70 and 80 and feel healed, or feel like that they're in the healing journey, who doesn't try to process forgiveness, who doesn't go down that path. And that's the point of this book, is for not to talk about my own story as much as kind of our universal heartbreak. And that's a way into conversations with other people. I think Arnold and I have a great relationship now, and I think there will always be a love there.